Father, Son, Holy Spirit, I want to share a vision I had of the John 23rd, uh, Pope John 23rd. Here's the vision I had. First of all, I have to tell you that he's been called Johnny Walker. It is very well known, as much as I believe I read it on the first description online in the dictionary online, the major one. And because they say the Italian used to call him, or people like this, is because he used to walk alone at night. And I can remember if I probably read this after. But here's the vision. I am exiting with a few people, not much people, a couple people. What seems to me, uh, 2-3 steps of a narrow corridor. In the narrow corridor, we immediately reach in a door, and I'm the last one, kind. And suddenly, I remember I forgot something. So since I was the last one, I just turned and I opened back the door and walk. When I walk, I immediately see a room without a door, small room, and in that corner, that upper right corner, there's a man praying in front of the wall. Nothing. I lift up my right hand. I cursed him up, and the language was probably not known to me, but was in Latin. Then what seems to me to be Latin to this day, and then I return. I continue immediately. I don't even know if he looked at me. Then it was the second room to my right. Um, it's been so long. It's 2011. I think I opened the door, but I'm 50% sure. Not quite. No, I opened the door. But what I'm sure is that this second man was standing up on his feet, but he didn't know where he didn't care. He didn't know what was I was looking for. What you will see is a man, and not only a man. It will be the Pope. So, but in that feeling, of an instant, I know he doesn't know who he should know about. So I lift up my right hand. I cursed him up. At that time, I start to get faster. I continue on the narrow corridor, which now I know is the papal residency, but at that time I never saw it. And would be nice if I'd share that vision so people it will be testified, since I was more innocent and I didn't know about it. And I didn't search it, but I saw a video barely for 1-2 seconds when the last election pope they were closing and walking the corridor. But to return to that vision, at that time, I start to waste my pace. I open the door, so to speak. This time is on the left side. After 2-3 steps, whatever, and there's a man there. It seems to me he was Italian, and he was closer to me. And I lift up my right hand immediately, because I was coming like in anger. He looked at me, and I just immediately raised my right hand. I started to curse, but he raised his hand and he started to talk over me a few words. And then I said, "Where is he?" And he showed to me. He passed back. He passed the corridor, and he showed to me, all the time, first room, second room, third room, and then he shows it to me there. And there, as the corner, he shows to me right where the corner starts, shows me a little trap there. Let's example. That trap is small like this, and it's rectangular. I look there, and I could only see dark, but I know it was like the size of a normal public swimming pool, maybe 20 feet or so, that it goes down there. So I look, but at that time, I was taking very much care of my more than today my parents. I was young, and I was over cleaning myself to the point that it was getting ahead of me, uh, even maybe sometimes of work. And I had a cross with my eye, and it was I don't know. Okay, I was taking care of. I'm like, ugh. And it's disgusting. So I didn't go. It was seems to me dark and not clean at all. And so I turned. I went back to the corridor, and immediately as I went there, I see a guy putting back his vest. Like he had taken out in haste. And I go, I grab him, and I'm surprised. Now, for the first time in the vision, I know it's the Pope, and I said, in a surprise, because I barely knew about him, I said, "Roncalli," which is John 23rd, now declare a saint, but not for me. And I wish I had done this, because at that time he was not. And I said, "Where were you?" And he says, with his smile, like, come and smile. You can kill somebody, but you smile. Calm, calm, but we sin, we don't care. He said, "I went to see the woman." At that time, I just relaxed. Me too. Sometimes, once a month, I would absolutely do no sexual thing, and then I would fall. It was something I grew up in a pornographic house, so to speak, because the only reason my it was this was video presented by my older brother. May God has his soul. He's still alive, I believe, but I haven't called for a month. But I mean, what I'm saying is that it was present, with or without his fault. I'm just saying, it's his fault, but he was 5 years old, and it was there to hiding, but easy to find.